Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Unbox Live, the future of the AI Receptionist. My name is Shaz Memon. I'm joined here today with Adam Smith, Sales Director, Abhinav, Head of Product, Elliot, CEO, John King, COO and Demo Lead, and Alana is moderating the chat. I run a company called Digimax Dental. We build the most powerful dental websites in UK dentistry. However, there is a real problem that we've been facing over the years, particularly recently with all the challenges around recruitment. There's so much sales data out there that supports if you reply to a lead within a certain amount of time, usually within 5 minutes, the chance of that lead going through will be more successful. And with so many practices investing in marketing more now than ever, there's a gap that needs filling, and that gap is the communication gap. Practices are really struggling to respond in a timely manner, respond in an enthusiastic manner, be able to answer the phone and give responses that really get that patient to convert into a visiting appointment. So I've seen Boxley on the scene for many years with their very successful inquiry bot. And really, my role here today is to be your voice, be the voice for the practices that are really trying to understand what AI Receptionist is. So AI Receptionist has not been launched yet. And I'd really like to uncover what it is, what it isn't, what it does. Now, many of you watching the webinar today were at the incredible event in London on the 4th of October. As someone that holds events, I must say I was deeply impressed by the attention to detail. And it kind of leads me on to it really reflects on the kind of products that Boxley builds and creates. And that event said it all, really. Now, if you weren't at the event, not to worry, because we are going to recap. And you may have seen the webisodes that were sent to you. And if you haven't, again, don't worry. So today we're going to unbox episode 3 and reveal what AI Receptionist is. And really what I would like to start by saying is handing it over to Elliot and Adam to just give us a deep dive and a little recap to the evening that you had in London.
Thanks, Shaz. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. The theme of our live event last month was AI meets humanity. And at the event, we were all about dentistry, care industry needs, people. AI is a very useful tool, and it can help you in your businesses, your practices. But it's the technology is nothing without the people. And so at the event, we ran through 3 videos which tracked our journey from the beginning with our first product, which was Inquiry Bot. It was the first video was entitled Silly Idea. And by the way, if you haven't watched the videos yet on the webisodes, please do. They're really rather fun. So the first video ran through what we've learned from our first product. It's all about, we've hosted millions and hundreds of millions of chats over the last few years on our website chatbot, and we put all that learning into our current product Boxley, which is CRM, now the number 1 CRM in UK dental with nearly 2,000 practices on it. And then that led neatly onto our third video, our latest innovation, AI Receptionist, which we believe is going to help practices so much, helping make more sales, take a huge amount of pressure off TCOs, receptionists, but still ensuring that patients have a fantastic experience.
Yeah, and just to reiterate what Elliot's saying, that dentistry still needs people. Humans remain indispensable, and the AI receptionist that we're going to talk about today just enables humans to be more human. No one else really seems to have realized that cutting down the number of calls at source is a lot easier than handling high volume of calls with AI. So the right place really to start, we think, is encouraging patients to get what they need without actually defaulting to have that phone call. So, Elliot just said, across Boxy, we've handled now more than 500 million patient inquiries across the Boxy platform. And a clear pattern has kind of emerged from that. Patients don't call because they want to speak to someone. They call because they need an answer before they actually feel the confidence to go and book. And calling is actually the last resort. Now, the instinct to the industry is to go throw AI at the phone, but that's actually only solving the symptom. It's not really solving the root cause of the problem. And the real issue, really, we feel, it isn't the phone. It's actually the lack of smart patient journeys that can be implemented across the business. Now, from all this learning, in almost every practice, we think that about 75 to 80% of inquiries could be handled at source with a really fast, human-feeling digital conversation without having to dial a phone number, without having to put someone on hold, disturbing a busy reception team, or kind of speaking to a rogue phone bot, voice bot. Think of our own behavior when we go onto Amazon. You don't call Amazon to go and buy a product, right, Shaz? I mean, this, like, you don't phone them. There's no phone number, really.
Yeah.
We do a research about the product. We find the reviews instantly. We can ask the questions into Amazon and make an informed decision about that product immediately. Now, the benefit to your team, if this was the case in a dental practice, is that when patients do actually call, they get a personal touch, and the staff can provide a focused and uninterrupted and no time pressure to actually deal with that call, and they get better results from it. So what makes AI Receptionist different is that it sits across all of your channels, handling all of your leads at source, following up when needed, and optimizing the patient journey. So in answer to the question of why, AI Receptionist isn't a phone bot. It's a digital first, patient first layer, and it solves the real problem at source at the start of the journey, giving basically patients fast answers and allowing patients to make better decisions and team to spend more time dealing with them in person.
Adam, thank you very much. I just need to clear something up, and I want to make this crystal clear. So anyone that thinks that AI Receptionist is something that answers the phone calls that come into the practice, this is exactly what AI Receptionist is not. You are reducing the number of calls that come into reception, so the calls that do come into reception can be handled really well because there's less volume. Before the calls come in, using a technology such as Inquiry Bot, WhatsApp, and other mediums, which I'm sure you're going to share with me, we're going to increase patient engagement before they even call or turn up, and reduce the number of calls coming into the practice, which I see as a key problem because the overwhelm that's occurring at the reception level. And from my data, the two biggest areas of financial loss for a practice are reception, phone, and website. So please, could you confirm, is my understanding correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'll hop in at this point. I completely agree. And one of the other key parts that our AI receptionists will handle is, when teams do pick up the phone to call back patients, if the AI receptionist had generated a lead, it's created this perfect profile for that patient. And I'll show that in the demo now. So let me just walk through a few slides here, and then I'll get into the really exciting stuff. We'll actually show this for the first time live. So let me just share my screen here. Let's pop it here. Okay, can everybody see that? Okay, perfect. So I think the best way to think about this, Shaz, is think about this AI receptionist as a member of the team, right? It's a virtual member of the team, and that's a really key thing. And this team member, it's trained to do all of these things, right? It's trained to book, reschedule, cancel appointments. It's trained to upsell and generate leads, answer, all these repetitive questions. Can I park at the practice? All this stuff, anything you can think of, it's trained to do that. It can triage, emergency appointments while people want to do that, NHS or private appointments for emergency. It can handle complaints and so much more, which I'll show you. And the key way to think about this is again, it's this virtual team member, and it lives on your website, okay, as that first port of call to handle things at the source. And then it also lives inside Boxly, your CRM. So, picture it just sitting there waiting. I know that's a bit creepy, right? But it's sitting there waiting. It's always on. It's ready to help on all your channels, right? So what I mean by all your channels is it's sitting there waiting for Facebook lead ads to come in. It's sitting there waiting for your web forms to come in. Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, email, everything hits Boxly. Boxly sorts it out, and this AI receptionist can pick it up, follow up with it, and nudge them towards a goal, towards booking or whatever. So that is the difference. It is not sitting on the phone in a robotic way, trying to brush patients off. It's trying to help them deal with their problem at the source. And the way to think about it is it's really designed to free up the team by helping patients at the source. Now, the way we've built it like a member of the team, right? And a member of the team has jobs to do. The first two jobs, which I'm going to show you, it's a website assistant. So think chatbot on your website, sitting there handling things. And also it's sitting inside of Boxly, waiting for leads and following up with them intelligently, dynamically, and automatically. And the roadmap for our AI receptionists, and where this differs, is over time, we will be rolling out a number of other jobs. It can recall overdue patients. So it's sitting there. It's not just, it's watching the patient journey and waiting for these trigger points to fire these really key things. It will be able to open treatment or follow up with open treatment plans, rebook people who haven't showed up, send dynamic appointment reminders, convert missed calls, collect feedback from treatments that's dynamic, and follow up with Google reviews as well. So this is just the start of it, these first two jobs, which I'm going to show you now. So the roadmap is very, very exciting. Okay, so what I said, it's trained on your practice information, okay? It has knowledge, okay? So basically, the AI receptionist is inside a Boxly in here. You give it a name and you train it on your tone and personality. That's very key, so it sounds like your practice. And then you give it knowledge, right? So this is an example of Demira. Demira Dental will be going live with very shortly, and it's trained on all their practices information, right? The region, phone number, facilities, opening hours, directions, again, to handle all of those questions that people have about those things. It's then fed all of the information about your treatments. These are broken down into categories. So in here, it has all the information. Like a great member of the team, it never forgets, right? Once this is baked in, it knows everything. Pricing, first steps, instructions, all this stuff. Then it has frequently asked questions, right? All those annoying things that people ask again, and we use templates to get back to people. That is dead. No need for that anymore. It's got everything here on any question you can imagine. So it's trained in. And then really importantly, it knows the special offers that you're running. So you pop in your special offers. You can put these on a time limit as well. So if they expire, they'll go away. And that's essentially it. I'm not going to go too much detail into the technical stuff. It has flows. These are basically your processes. And then really it has jobs to do. All right. The first one is the website assistant. The AI receptionist will live on your website, right? So this is an example of Demira. This is not live yet, guys. So don't rush to the Demira website to play with it. This is just overlaid on top of it. But it's going to sit here on your website and dynamically pop up options here to engage with visitors on the website. It's got your special offers baked in here, right? Everything in, and you can have a conversation with it right here, okay? So you can inquire about treatments, book appointments, reschedule appointments, cancel any of this stuff. It's all fed off that training information, and it knows exactly what to do. So let's pick off one here, right? Reschedule an appointment. So I'm going to put in one here that I've put in already. Now this accounts, like Adam said, is 75 or 80% of the reason why people are picking up the phone, okay? So let's just pop one in here. And then date of birth. Now you know how old I am, everybody. Okay, so here, this is hooked into Dentally live. So I'll get a one-time password here for security, for example. Let me just get it here.
Which PMS softwares do you integrate with?
So currently we are fully integrated with Dentally, so we'll be running a few more shortly. Sorry, I'm just waiting for this. 1 second. Here it is.
Yeah, all the work so far, Shaz, has been with Dentally, but we are going to start working with more of the PMSs to bake into this. But so far, the beta and live version will go with Dentally.
Okay, so here's reschedule my appointment. So I have an appointment here. This is pulling it live from Dentally. Okay, so I confirm that I want to change this one. This is the practitioner. Let's pick a different date. Let's say this time. Okay. So then I reschedule this appointment. Okay, it pops back in the chat. So everything is there, right? Boom, straight in, back to Dentally. And I can continue the chat if I have more questions. Right, so that's one example of dealing with a massive problem at the source. 78% of the phone calls, just for that reason, we make it super simple, super secure, and super fast. Any questions in here you can ask the AI receptionist about. Let's say, how much is, whitening? Now, again, this is still in beta mode, so bear with us, but this should pick up the special offer that we have in there, okay? Okay, so we've got a Christmas sparkle bundle here, all this type of thing. Say, I'm not sure which I want to do. Book a free consultation. How about that? So again, we put dynamic options in front of people to get them in, right? So you can schedule in your appointment right there. And this is all hooked live into Dentally, okay? So you just pop in your details again. I'm not going to put this in because this is live on the Demira bookings. So that's it right there. So any questions you have, locations, timings, whatever, frequently asked questions, we can handle all of that in a conversational flow. Now, I want to show you what that looks like inside of Boxly. So it's sitting here, okay? And then it's going to pop into Boxly. So here's an example of, let's say, a lead. The AI receptionist has a conversation on the website, and it has collected a lead. So here it gives a summary of that lead, right? So I've been chatting with Liam today, and he's interested in sorting out a gap in his teeth. I've given him some options to include composite bonding, veneers, and crown bridges. Wasn't sure, so I suggested a consultation to get a clear treatment plan. He asked to book that consultation, but then said, can somebody call me back, right? So it's given this massive snapshot of that lead, and it's brought a rather small amount of information to life. And inside a Boxly here, you can actually see that original conversation. So the team can have a look back through exactly what he said. So this is massively powerful. So this can bring in bookings, reschedulings, any sort of lead straight into Boxly. So that's what a lead would look like. And now for what I would call the golden goose. Now, we have worked with so many practices on setting up these automated sequences to follow up with incoming leads. Okay, so picture you're running a Facebook lead ad, right? A campaign that's going to a landing page for for Invisalign or something like that. And somebody fills in the form. Great. What happens? It comes in. Maybe if you're lucky, you have an autoresponder, few follow-ups or whatever. Now let me show you this, right? So this is an actual lead that's popped into Boxly. So right here, right? I've got pretty bad overcrowding. I was wondering if Invisalign would work for me. I'd rather not get train tracks. I'm interested to know about costs and first steps, okay? Standard leads come in, okay? Now, the AI receptionist kicks in. and it starts following up. And it could be trained and told what to do. So in this case, it's been given a follow-up sequence of 3 follow-ups. All right, so the first one, it's telling you what it's thinking. So the patient has expressed a clear interest in Invisalign as an alternative to traditional braces for overcrowding. I'm providing a consultation opportunity which directly addresses their need for information and costs, etc. Okay, so now it's sent a really targeted email, dynamic subject line. It's pulled in here the offer that's running right now for Invisalign, and it dynamically puts call to action buttons in here. And the key thing with these buttons is that they actually link back to the AI Receptionist, like I showed you, to the chat version of it. And everything is kept in context. So when you land there, it knows, hi, Jane, hi, John, let's get you booked in, or can I handle any more questions? Trying to get people off email where basically leads go to die, right? So basically, this is a very interactive process. Before I show you the next follow-ups, I'd like maybe Abs to hop in here at this point, but he has built millions of automations for dental practices. And I just want him to touch on the fact, why these messages are designed like they are.
Yeah, so thanks, John. So all the customers, we have been building automation for them for the past 6 years. We have been suggesting them things. We have been telling them things that, oh, you should add this. Or the customers are coming to us and saying like, oh, I want to, if someone is inquiring about Invisalign, I want to send them a big message with a PDF and everything. In this time and day, no one has time to read all those messages. And then people ask you to add in multiple links within an email, and that makes the customer who is receiving that email confused. They don't even know what button they need to click, because there are multiple things, and the emails that are going out are not contextual. And that's the beauty of the AI Receptionist is it reads, understand what the person is looking for, and gives them a clear, crisp message, and with the proper call to action on what they need to do next. So yeah, and one of the things I will answer Nin's question, he's asking how is appointment change like that communicated to the practice? Email through patient notes. So what happens is like similar to how things are happening, any changes that happens to a specific lead appointment change, it will pop into your things to do section, and the team will be able to get the notification on what has happened. Over to you, John.
So yeah, I mean, absolutely, like clean, crisp messages, clear call to action. Now here, it checks dentally, right? It waits, it checks dentally, checks the PMS, and the person hasn't booked in, so it sends another follow-up. Okay, so the user's expressed interest in Invisalign for overcrowding. Since they haven't booked a consultation after the initial follow-up, I'm going to highlight a special offer that could incentivize them to take the next step and book a consultation. So this is hyper dynamic. It's changing on the go. It's changing its tactics here. It's like a professional copywriter now working in your business. It's urging them, it's nudging them towards this. It's kicked in the offer that it's had as well. And you can see here the call to action has also changed as well in the email. Now, then the third one, and this is very important, teams are dealing with a lot of stuff. So here, the third follow-up is scheduled. So you can actually see what's going to go off next, and you can send it now or you can stop it. And you can see when it's scheduled, okay? So if you hopped in here as a member of the team, you're actually able to see it. And up here, you can see that, Sam's actively following up with this patient as well. So that's really important to have that kind of visibility and a bit of transparency for the team, because I know it's a bit weird, right? We're entering this mad phase of dynamic automation. It is an absolute game changer. So we want the team to see what's going on. So that's really important. On the inquiries themselves for existing Boxley customers, everything looks the same. This is just a wrapper on top of what you already have. And here you're able to see what follow-up this is in. Now, if I come back over here, the way it's all set up in the job section, we have the lead replies. Okay, let me just refresh. 1 second. Yeah, here it is here. So inside of here, we have a setup for these follow-ups, okay? So you can say, I want the AI receptionist to follow up 3 times in 36 hours. I want it to work all the time or only after business hours. You can exclude channels. And then here's a really key part to it. After that AI receptionist, let's say it hasn't achieved its goal, it can move it to a certain stage. It can then assign it to a member of the team, and it can create a callback task, right? So it just goes bang, 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 move it to the stage, assign it to the team, and it will create a summary of everything that it's done before it hands off and tells the team to call them back. So it's really that frontline support for teams to try and convert more patients, deal with incoming inquiries, both on the website and inside of Boxley. It also has, this is a very useful feature. It's your chat page. So if I open up the link here, there's a hosted chat page that you can share in your emails. You can create a QR code to that page as well, and actually, drive traffic to it. Because if you think about it, this is basically the most intelligence in your business all confined down into this. It knows everything about your business. It knows all your offers, all your processes, and everything like that. So that
John,
is AI Receptionist.
I was just going to interject there, mate, because I know I like to take credit for all the amazing work you guys do behind the scenes when I'm talking to customers, saying it's all me. But I know one of the things that I couldn't get my head around is that the widget that sits on the website isn't a chat bot. It is, well, it sits on the website, but the widget that sits on the website is the same. It's the same engine, the same conversations that I've been having throughout Boxley now. Instead of just having a chatbot on the website, that conversation is happening throughout Boxley as well as the website. And I struggle to get my head around that.
Yeah, it is, absolutely. Like I was showing in those emails, when someone clicks the button in the conversation is kept in a thread, right? So it knows, it's following you around. It knows who you are, basically, once you've made an inquiry.
Yeah.
This, you might think of this as a chatbot, but this is the interface in which the AI receptionist lives and communicates with your customers. It works stunningly on mobile. It's beautiful on mobile, and it's a very, very seamless and smooth experience. As the guy said at the start, we have 7 years of experience from InquiryBot building chatbots. We've hosted millions and millions of conversations. So the whole experience of this conversation is super important to us, and we've spent probably more time than we should have designing this. But that's my fault, I suppose. But we're not going to put out any crap, because there's certainly enough of that out there, as we've seen.
One thing, just sorry, I know I'm kind of I keep interrupting you, because but one of the big things that we know, the AI chatbots. I mean, let's think about the chatbot, because this is where this is all driven from, right? But we know that AI chatbots have been coming into the market for a long, long time, and we've had customers try to leave, go to a different chatbot, and come back because they know that these chatbots aren't trained. They're completely open, and they don't guide the patient. And this is what people love about InquiryBot in the past, is that as you go through a chat conversation, we're prompting for that next step. And what AI Receptionist has been built in is to guide that patient based on their previous conversation. I mean, you showed it really quickly, but based on that previous conversation, what are the next steps? If, for example, if someone's looking at different plans, it prompts them with the options. Do you want to find out about my plans? Do you want to book a consultation? Do you want to do this? It's guiding dynamically patients to that next step, which is what people need, because they don't know what they want to do when they get in front of a conversation. So I think that's one of the big things about this, right?
Yeah, 100%. And a lot of people would think, how is it learning? Is it self-improving? Is it doing all that kind of thing? This is early days. We are collecting huge volumes of data. This will improve drastically over time. Like any member of the team who starts, on their first day, they're not going to get everything right. But we have feedback mechanisms and things in the product, so that, if you're not happy with how it answered a question, it could be easily tweaked and trained to get it right the next time. But out of the box, it'll be pretty damn accurate. I can tell you that from our testing.
John, thank you very much for that very, very clear demonstration. I've got a lot of questions, and with it being 7:30, I'm going to call this the quick fire round. What channels of communication is AI Receptionist working with? We obviously know there's a website assistant, your 24-hour team member that doesn't moan or complain, or is on PAYE, or doesn't have sick days. It's always working, no attitude problem, no rubbing, no causing issues with other team. It just works like the dream employee. So I get that part. You mentioned email. Tell me more about email and other platforms, WhatsApp.
Yeah.
I know that was mentioned as well.
Yeah, for sure. So I suppose there's a couple ways to think about it. One is, what channels does the AI receptionist follow up with patients on? So I'll answer that one first. So when an inquiry comes in, what channels can it reply back on? So we will be replying back on email and WhatsApp and SMS. The first version of it right now is email. We'll shortly be rolling in WhatsApp, and then SMS is native to our platform anyway as well. Then what channels can it reply on would be the other way. So it sits on your website, it sits in Boxly, but we will be rolling out in the new year it being able to sit inside of Instagram and Facebook, and also inside of WhatsApp as well, right? So there's, each of those platforms are slightly different. So we'll be rolling that out in the new year as well.
So is it right that have I understood correctly? I wouldn't need a team member in my practice to be monitoring Instagram in the future, or Facebook, and then someone else handling email, and then inquiries through the website. It's all unified.
Exactly. And the reason we've been able to do this is because we built Boxly. Boxly, at its core, centralizes all those channels anyway. It brings them all in. So our natural next step was to bring in an AI receptionist to then pick up those channels and handle it like a human team member would. So yes, exactly.
Brilliant. I just want to say to the audience that these integrations are not to be taken lightly. Just even trying to integrate into WhatsApp, as someone who works in tech, I can tell you that it's not easy. One, to integrate; two, to have these things running smoothly; and three, to make it appear natural. So the fact that you've got so many channels sort of interlinking and working so intelligently in the background is pretty amazing. I was blown over because I've seen this for the first time, right? I haven't seen this before with the rescheduling feature. As you said, a lot of the receptionist time gets taken up with queries about rescheduling and canceling. So this is, I could say, if it works as well as you're showing it does, quite revolutionary. Could we go one step further? Could practices on their on hold music or audio, when someone calls the practice, say, look, if you're calling to reschedule or cancel an appointment, you can hop onto our website. There's a website assistant there that can do this for you within seconds. But hold if you want to speak to a human. Could we be doing that?
Yeah, I love it. Absolutely. I think it's something we've been thinking about. In fact, I'd maybe even take it a step further, Shaz. It would be, everyone's in a rush, right? So, if you imagine your IVR platform, press 1 if you want an express option, or, wait for 10 minutes and speak to a human. A lot of people are going to press that express option, and perhaps we could send them an SMS with a live link to the AI receptionist to reschedule. So we're exploring all these, ways to deploy it to, again, cut down those phone calls. Yeah.
And one thing I've noticed with your inquiry bot, because we get asked all the time, should we have a bot? And I'll be honest with you, as designers, as creative people, we don't like things popping up on the screen, just being honest with you. But when my bottom line answer is, why are we making a website? Yeah. Ultimately, it's there to be more profitable for the practice. We're trying to make the practice more money. And if a bot or an assistant, previously your bot and now an assistant, can do that for you, it acts as that point of contact. We become lazy. TV show writers now are having to rewrite scripts for shows is called second screen viewing. So they're dumbing down TV shows because they know that people are distracted because they're also scrolling on their phones. And with us as a nation becoming lazier as a result, I can't think of any better way to engage with a patient that's got 1,000 other things to do than get an assistant to do that for them. And it sounds like it's not one team member, it's about 100 team members, because I guess for a busy practice, there could be 20 conversations happening at the same time. And Susan's not, saying I'm burnt out, I need 2 weeks off. So I love the sound of how powerful this is. Now, an area of concern for me specifically, because there are issues around clinical questions and what's said by the bot. How does the bot handle answering clinical questions? I hope it doesn't act like ChatGPT where it gives it a shot. What have you done for that?
Yeah, it's a great question. That's something we built in from the start. It's a closed circuit, right? So what I showed you on screen, it's only trained on the information that it has been given, and it's not going to the web to go and find some more information. And it's been trained not to give clinical advice. It can suggest treatments based on what they may have given in terms of their symptoms or things like that, or their concerns, but it's not going to start, building a treatment plan for them or giving them, detailed advice from a medical standpoint. And that's really baked in. Those guardrails are baked in.
Brilliant. I love that. So there's never going to be a scenario where a clinical question's answered by any channels, any assistants on the website at all.
No.
Shaz, if I could make a point that if you've got a receptionist who's answering the phone, they will know at what point they would be overstepping the mark in offering clinical advice. They know that they're not clinicians, so that they would. So what we try to do with the AI receptionist is basically replicate the behavior of the perfect receptionist. So and the beauty of this is that when you're perfect reception, even if you have a human perfect receptionist, they work a set number of hours. So there are times when they're just simply not in the clinic, in the practice. And then there are times when also they'll be on the phone or they'll be attending to other things. They may be helping out real patients. So the beauty of the AI receptionist is it can have, unlimited concurrent conversations. But as John explained, it basically knows where the line is drawn and it doesn't overstep the mark. It's not offering any clinical advice. It knows its lane. It knows what it's trying to do, and it's always keeping within that scope.
Brilliant. Okay, and so look, there are so many team members right now in practices that are answering emails and answering inquiries coming through, and then Instagram. They're going to look at this and think, wow, okay, am I going to be replaced? Am I going to lose my job? So could you tell me, what should their role be if they're not doing that anymore? How should they be using Boxley to best support the practice?
I'll take it.
Sorry, I was going to just say, the current roles that reception team are doing varies, and they're doing 5 or 6, sometimes doing 5 or 6 jobs every single day. There are some roles that the AI receptionist are going to be brilliant at doing. Where we feel that patients should offer the staff should offer that brilliant patient experience is taking a leaf out of the hospitality book. And that is when a patient turns up into the practice, instead of being on the phone and being really impatient and having to rush someone through, is have a human connection with them. That is the perfect opportunity to do things like upsell opportunities, get them on a membership plan, things like that. I mean, yes, the AI receptionists in time could potentially do that, but we speak to customers all the time, Shaz, who are talking about sending an email out to their customer base or patient base with 7 different links, so offering 7 different options of different treatments. And the patient's sitting there going, I just wanted a hygiene appointment. I don't know why you're sending all this. The human touch is when they're in front of people and they can give that hospitality feel, and deliver a brilliant patient experience. So that patient keeps coming time after time after time. That's where we feel that the staff should be doing.
I'll just jump in. I'll give you a great example there. The other day I was at the gym, right? And they have a great reception team there. They're very nice. And I came to the reception, and the receptionist had her head down on the computer, and she was clearly responding to emails in the morning. And I said hello, and she didn't say hello back. Now, she's very nice. I've often had nice interaction with her, but she was busy doing admin, and she wasn't busy being human. So, in this world of AI, a lot of people say, well, what do we have? If AI is going to do everything for us, what do we have left? We're human. So let's be human, and let AI take care of some of this repetitive admin stuff, and let it do a good job at it. So this is what I feel about it.
I think we acknowledge the fact that also, particularly in the short term, there are going to be jobs that the AI is going to do less well than humans, and there's some stuff that AI does better than humans. And then there's and so what we really want to do is reduce the workload on the people who are doing 10 things at once. They're answering phones, they're trying to greet patients as they come into the practices. We're trying to take the pressure off them and actually make it, as John said, so that they're actually sort of giving their best human side.
We have heard a lot of our customer actually complaining about the number of leads that they receive, and they are just don't have time to respond to them. And that's the thing. Like, there are certain questions that you don't need to answer. Like, you don't have to be on the call, and that's what the AI assistant receptionist is gonna solve for you. Like, certain things, like, you don't have to, so they are not burdened with the number of things that they have on their plate.
That's a great point, actually, about the number of leads, because I've had that conversation with so many potential clients who are engaging us for SEO. And they say, look, we don't want to start yet because we don't know if we can handle the leads. And that's such an annoying thing to hear, because really the leads are what a practice thrives on to then convert into future business. So like I said at the very beginning, there is a gap, and I love that you're filling that. But I want to ask you, look, there are, we can't deny that there are moments when we're speaking to something that's not human. It can be frustrating. What have you done to train your assistant to reduce the frustration? What kind of tests have you put it through?
We have been, because we have the experience for the past 6 years of like all the inquiries that we have received from Inquiry Bot, and then now in Boxly, we have trained the receptionist in all the data that we have received. So we have guardrails for certain things that we know like should not be like handled by them, and they don't have to answer everything. They can just pass on the things when they don't have the answer for. So like the research and the time that it has taken us to get it out is the reason, because we were training the receptionist on all the data that we have.
I think from my perspective anyway, from a sales perspective, when people are conversing with someone through the website, through email, and if this is 9-10 o'clock at night, or they're seeing things instantly, they're not expecting necessarily to speak to a human being. If they want to speak to a human, that's what we want to allow. We want people who want to speak to humans, but that's where we find the AI voice bots. We're not saying there isn't a place for AI voice bots. So I'm not saying that at all. But I know if I phone up a practice to get something like an implant or Invisalign or Composite, something like that, I want to speak to a real person, because I'm obviously calling for a reason. If I'm conversing on a website or over WhatsApp, I'm having a conversation to try and get the answers to my questions, so I can just go and book to see a real person. And I think that's where we want to do that real nice hybrid of the human touch. So there's a lot of learnings that have gone into this, Shaz, but I think there's also a perception of what patients actually want to do and how they do it as well.
I've seen a lot of people turn off their adverts in the evenings, where patients are most active when the practice is closed. And do you feel that, or have you seen that your tools are converting more people out of hours into booking appointments, answering questions than perhaps during office hours? Is there a lot of money being left on the table after 5:30 p.m.?
Yeah, I think like from like it might not be the accurate figure, but I think like 67.4% the leads that the practice receives, they are out of business hours, and at that point, like you don't have anyone to respond to them. And as you said, like people try to turn off the Google ads because it's the conversion that you cannot get. You try to solve someone's answer, like if you don't solve it straight away, you are not getting the conversion from Google ads, and that's the reason people are turning the ads off. But with the receptionist being there and answering all the questions straight away, whatever the reason the person came to the website, they won't have to do that, and you will have higher conversions and then low cost per click in the future.
Yeah, 100%. I'll just maybe add another one to that. You know, with these conversations that it's having, let's say from that, Shaz, for lead generation after hours, it's designed to give people options, right? It's, you know, everyone wants that consultation booking, but like, you know, give the person an option to request a call back so the team can get back to them as well. So it's, you know, there's a lot of marketing in how it's designed to capture leads. You know, give people multiple options. Don't force them down one track. If they want to speak to somebody, great, collect the details, put it through. If they want to book straight in, which is less likely, give the option, but don't force it, you know?
Brilliant. I mean, that's an amazing figure. I didn't know that could be 67.4%. So whenever I've contacted business out of hours, often I don't get a reply 9 a.m. the next morning because there's a big buildup of inquiries for that business. So I'm just picturing Susan walks into the practice, opens a computer, there's 20 inquiries there, and now she's just busy from the moment she reaches the desk. What does it look like after installing AI Receptionist? What does her morning look like when she arrives at her desk?
Shaz, that is the reality. Like we see this all the time.
Mhm.
Like in fact, being totally honest, that's what happens with us. We get a lot of leads. Boxy get a lot of leads over the weekend, and we come in on a Monday morning, and we spend the first 2 hours just going through those, replying and getting them, trying to get them booked in. It is the reality. Now, what this will do in the future is that those 20 leads that they would come into normally, there will be 15 leads that have been converted into a booking, and potentially 5 callbacks that have been scheduled throughout that week when the patient actually wants them. So Susan comes at 9 o'clock in the morning. She plans the week. She doesn't have to kind of go through those leads and try to respond to them. And unfortunately, they get aired and get ghosted, which is what happens quite a lot. Because you know best. We all sat there. You just said it. We sat there in the evenings on our weekends, once we put the kids to bed or whatever, and we're on Amazon. We're on our phones, and that's when we transact. That's when we're motivated. And if we don't get an instant gratification or instant next step, that excitement at that point dissipates to the next day because we've got loads of other things that happen in our life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think also it's a question of expectation. So if somebody gets a canned response, okay, which, you know, particularly if an inquiry is not set in context. So let's say a traditional response to an email form submitted over a weekend might be, "Thank you for inquiry. A member of the team will get back to you soon." So it's not even contextual. So at the moment, Boxley will respond in a contextual way right now, but with the AI Receptionist, it will respond in a hyper contextual way. It'll continue a conversation. It'll give people the chance to communicate in the way that on the sort of platforms that suit them the best. But it also can set expectations of when somebody's going to get back and who's going to get back to them. So it'll know exactly who in the team is going to get back to them and when they're likely to get back to them as well. So people aren't just sitting there thinking, well, I've had this sort of acknowledgement that I've made an inquiry, but I have got no idea when somebody's going to come back to me. The AI receptionist will make that really clear.
It's I'll be honest, it takes your getting your head around. This is a huge shift in technology, in automation. It is really groundbreaking, and it's taken our own team a little time to get their head around it as well, if I'm being honest. We are building contextual automations for our customers, and this just goes to a whole other level. So it's good that we're breaking it apart and talking through it like this, because it's new technology, and it's amazing actually to see it in real time working like that.
Every other dental magazine I open, or any website I see, or any podcast conversation, the conversation is burnout in dentistry. Teams are feeling stretched. So the way I'm seeing it is that this reducing the amount of communication one team member is responsible for, and should they drop the ball and a complaint come in, the pressures that come with that kind of responsibility are huge. And we're seeing so many people move from one practice to another because of this feeling. So this is so much anxiety. I'm seeing this as a way for the team members to be able to breathe and focus on building the business and having more meaningful conversations. So to me, this sounds like a win. And Elliot, you said this is like the perfect receptionist. Maybe you should rebrand and call it the perfect receptionist, because that would be a more apt name. Now I understand this is not released yet, and you've got a waiting list. Could you tell me a bit more about timelines, release, how someone would get this on their into their practice?
Yeah, go ahead, Ed.
I was going to say, yeah, we're really excited to, in the next few weeks, we're going to be going live in our beta version, John, aren't we, on Demira?
Yes.
So this will, that is going to be a learning curve for us during that first month. We will then be looking to roll this out from January to our, especially initially for anyone that's got dentally, because that's what's baked into the system right now. And we're going to be looking at that. Look, we're not going to be able to throw everyone at it in one go, unfortunately. There's going to be some training, there's going to be some learning, and we're going to be having to work with every practice initially to really hone down this to build it into your business. But as we start learning from the feedback and the results that are coming back, we'll be, it'll allow us to deploy quicker, but keeping those guardrails in, which is obviously the most important thing. And then be able to go at speed, really. But yeah, from January onwards, we will be able to deploy this to a lot more of our customers.
I believe Alana is going to share the waiting list link in the chat, and a copy of this recording will be emailed to everyone. Is there anything else that we need to cover?
I think we have a couple of questions, Shaz, just on the right. Alana, do you want to just resurface a couple? I think I saw Carl Ankush has got one. I don't know if you can resurface those, Alana. If not, I'll just try and quickly search it. There we go.
I think I'll do that. Yeah.
Go on.
Carl, as we said, like the AI receptionist is going to be contextual, not only on your website, but when the leads are sitting within a box lead, it's going to read everything that has happened previously in the same conversation and keep the context to make it more human and reply to what the person is actually asking and not repeat itself.
I'll pull one there. I've got Ankush. For patients changing their own appointments, there's so many variations: dentist, hygienist, therapist, specialist. Can you restrict or give choice for the appointment? So with that, this is the version that I've showed you there is hooked straight into the Dentally API. So it is only fetching what's available. So it's basically locked down to that. So I hope that answers your question, that people can only really book or change what's there, what's available.
Also, Ankush, like I know, like in Dentally, there are sessions and zones. So Boxly will be looking into the zones as well. So it does not actually provide certain dates or times that you have marked that no one should be booking at that time. So yeah, it covers that as well.
Just one there, Shimba. How does Boxly work with Arona? We have an Arona integration, but not in the AI Receptionist yet. These are very deep integrations that we have to build to pull this off in the AI Receptionist. So we will be rolling those out, in the new year. But Dentally is the first one we'll be rolling out. Yeah.
There's a question there just from Omar. Great. How likely is that you'll be able to integrate with SFD, which is server-based at the moment and is a closed system? So we had a webinar on Friday, the Abs and Adam show. We did release that we have an integration with SFD coming out before Christmas. So we're working on the last bit of testing with that. So we will integrate Boxly into SFD, which the ability to create a patient and create an appointment within Boxly. With regards to the AI Receptionist, again, we've got a really good relationship with Adam and James at SFD, where we'll be looking to bake in Boxly AI Receptionist into SFD as well. Who else? Yeah, we've got Carl.
There for Carl. Yeah. We'll have to wait for links to be made with WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, etc., to the conversations already in Boxly. Yes, we will be rolling those out in the new year, but the first version will be picking up, I suppose, 75% of incoming stuff from web forms, Facebook lead ads, email, and that. And it will, the next channel that it will be able to reply back from, besides email, will be WhatsApp.
And then the last one with the new Boxly Marketing Suite, can the AI Receptionist be linked to or appear on the landing pages? That's an interesting one. I'm not going to answer that one because I don't know.
I'll answer that one. So the AI Receptionist, you can drop it on any web page, landing page, whatever. It's just a little snippet of code. Drop it on there, and off it goes.
Amazing. Any other questions, guys?
That's great.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
You just
everybody.
created so much more admin for Digimax, because I know we're going to get so many requests to be adding bot codes all in one go. And John, I think you need to speak to your gym and get them onto this ASAP.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
And rename it.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Thank you so much, everybody, for the questions and for sticking with us on a Monday evening.
Yeah, thanks. Massive thanks to Shaz as well for hosting this.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank